Oh hey there, I was just enjoying the view at Port Barheim. Welcome back guys to Final Fantasy XII the HD Zodiac Age Remaster Edition. We have completed the main story, it's all done. The battle with Vane, the Acuria, Vanar, Dr. Sid, all that whole business, it's all done and dusted. All that's left now for us is to do some side quests. Now, those of you that know me will know that I enjoy battle-related side quests, not the running around finding shit, but just hardcore battles. The more difficult battles that are available, the better it is for me. And this game, I have been told, has no shortage of such things. So, my plan is to, at the very least, try to do all of the optional Espers and to do all of the hunts, which pretty much is the definition of side quests for me. Once I've done all of that, I don't really see what else I need to do for this game. I mean, there's things like ultimate weapons and trying to get all of that stuff, but to me, it's not all that important at this stage. I prefer to just put all of my efforts into doing the optional Espers and completing the hunts first. So, this is the stats that I completed the game with. So, on average, I'd say level 41. I've got Fran at level 39, lagged behind at the end, and only Barsh and Penello have pushed forward a little bit on 43. Now, one thing I did, because there's a lot of optional Espers, they all have different things that you need to do in order to be able to access them and all that kind of stuff. It's not the kind of thing that you can do without research. And when it comes to doing commentary playthroughs, one thing that's very important to me is structure. Even if it's a blind playthrough, I like to try to keep things at least a little bit structured, so it's not just me going off randomly trying to find shit, and you have like 3 or 4 hours of me just wandering around not accomplishing anything. So what will happen is that I'll probably dedicate an episode to each of the optional Espers, and maybe some of them will be long, some of them will be short. I'll do the entire process of what's necessary to unlock them, so any prerequisites that are necessary. These are all stuff that I've taken notes on, because just doing it blindly is pretty much impossible. I looked at like Zalera, I need the Barheim Key for that, and that's not something that you can just figure out on your own very easily. It will take you a long time to mess around and find all that stuff. So that's why I've got notes, and I decided that the best way to do it would be to at first start with the optional Espers. When I get stuck on those, because there's still, I think, maybe, I don't know how many, like 6 or 7 still to do, and of those 6 or 7, with these stats I could probably defeat some of them, but there's some of them that I'm definitely going to be too weak for at this stage, because they're just going to be way out my league. So I feel like defeating whichever ones I can right now, and when they get too difficult, then I can head back to the hunts. So we'll see how we go after that. So that's the plan. Go as far as I can with the optional Espers, and then when I get stuck, complete all the rest of the hunts that I had, and then once I've completed some of the hunts, I've got to what I think is a decent stage, where the hunts are probably getting a little bit too difficult as well. Then I'll take another look at the optional Espers. So with me, the goal is always to try to do everything I can without grinding, and the rules are going to be the same here. So I'm going to try my best to not do any specific grinding and see how far that takes me. So, to that end, the first thing I will do is have a check of my equipment and my items. In terms of spells and that kind of thing, I'll probably learn some more stuff as I go to some of these optional difficult areas. I'll probably end up finding some more spells in chests and that kind of thing, finding some cooler weapons, that sort of stuff. But in terms of shops, I think I've pretty much unlocked most of what can be unlocked from what I've understood. So we'll have to see. So I've heard that these optional Espers can be very, very difficult, which is fine by me, because the storyline, especially in the last 10 hours, the last 4 or 5 bosses, they really turned into serious pushovers. So for me, like, challenging bosses, absolutely fine, no worries at all. So one thing that I noticed when I was doing the final bit, what was it called? Shit. The Pharos or something like that. There were areas where there was, like, you couldn't use physical attacks, you couldn't use magic, you couldn't use items, that kind of thing. So one thing I need to make sure is that whenever I'm trying to do one of these optional Espers, I don't know which one of those could come up, because I don't know anything about the optional Espers. Aside from where they appear and how to unlock them, I don't know anything about the battle itself. So all I know is their approximate difficulty order. So there's I think they're pretty much split into 2 between the easy ones and the harder ones. So I know that, like, Zalera, this one I don't know if it's it's Kutchu or it's Choo Choo. Because when I say Choo Choo, I just feel like saying Choo Choo Train. There's Choo Choo Lane, there's Exodus, and there's Zeromus. I think these are the easier four, with Zeromus being the most difficult. And then you have Chaos, Ultima, and Zodiac that are even more difficult. So, like I said, they get more and more difficult as you move along. And I feel like the easier category I should be able to deal with these characters. Okay, brought some more gambits that might be useful, although to be honest I feel like I've been pretty happy with the gambits that I had up until the end of the game. I think the only thing I'm probably missing is, I think ethers are important at this stage. Yeah, I've got 9 ethers. Aside from that, I think if I have a situation where I can't use magic, then I'm going to need X potions to heal. So that's probably wise. 3 high ethers, that's probably not that great. And I should have 99 remedies as well, and 99 Phoenix down. So every time I want to go into one of these things, I need to make sure that I restock on those before I head further in. Now, I think to get ethers, I needed to go to Rabanasta. One thing I want to check before I move on is maybe buying some more heavy armors, because one thing that I realized late on in the game is that certain characters who are physical hitters that don't have heavy armors, they're missing out on a pretty big strength boost. So I feel like it's something that I should probably have some extra of. So like Balthier was someone who ended up benefiting from the heavy armors. I guess even in a situation where I can't use magic, if I want Fran to use a bow, I can give her a set of these as well. These are heavy armor 9s. Okay. If I've got 3 of each, that should already be enough, to be honest. Okay, so it seemed I already had enough. I didn't need to worry about that. Okay, so I've decided that the first port of call is going to be Zalera. Now, Zalera is one that has a lot of backwards and forwards, so the first part of it is going to be me trying to get this Barheim Key thing. So I've written a list of steps on how to get it, but it's pretty boring. So if you want to skip straight to the battle, you're probably going to need to use the annotation that I have on screen now. So if you guys want to buckle in for the ride, then let's get started and head towards the Estersand, which is where we're going to start off with this Barheim Key business. The optional Espers are said to be very difficult, but that's something I've heard a lot in this game. I'm sure, especially those of you guys again that only really know the vanilla version, you're probably like, oh my god, these. You're probably thinking, oh, these optional Espers are so hard, they're going to crush him. Well, I've spent this entire playthrough having people tell me I'm going to get crushed, and I've not been crushed at all. I've died once in the entire playthrough, and now it's an optional boss. So I think my approach to things here will be, I'll keep like one person out in the party unless I'm in a new area. So once I head back to Necrohole of Nabudis, the Nabrius Deadlands, that kind of place, then I'll obviously have my characters out and be battling. But if I'm going through places like the Estersand, there's no point in me fighting endless battles over here. So I'm just going to traverse through without worrying too much. So now I need to find Dantro. How am I going to find Dantro? Oh yeah, we can talk to cockatrices now. I want to see Tori, but I ain't going nowhere near that bleeding Nathal. I ain't thick. They're so sassy, these cluckatrices and cockatrices. 5 kill, okay. Now I've either got to find Dantro or I've got to find Dantro's wife. One of the two. I don't think either one is here at the moment. Ah, my husband's been gone to North Bank for 3 days. Okay. So I'm on the South Bank now. Gotta head north. Head for the north. But I can't do that right now, of course. Okay, how the flip... Do I have to go back to Rabanasta to get to the North Bank more easily? I think that's probably a better idea. While I'm in Rabanasta, one thing I can do is get myself some ethers. That's going to be something I need to do. Yeah, let's head to the bazaar. pretty sure that's where they sell it. I still don't think I've seen it anywhere else other than the bazaar. But I'm just wondering when a lot of these spells are going to appear. Are they all just kind of... Are the rest really just hidden in chests? Or are there going to be some other shops or something? I haven't done any research on where to find them. Maybe I will later on. I want to leave myself some money. But if I get locked into a really difficult boss battle, those ethers are going to go very quickly. So screw it. I'm just going to buy them all. Get all the ethers. Okay. Is the Vieira girl still here? She probably is. She's been a lazy ass and hasn't gotten up once since the start of the game. Little has changed for me. I have seen much of the city, though I still have made few friends and am no closer to realising my goal. I have not spoken of this to you before, but I came to Rabanassus to become more like my sister. I feel like I've read this before. Yeah, with that lazy attitude I've said no. I think I remember this. Though you may speak the truth, I am not yet beaten. Yeah, I seem to remember this conversation. I don't know when we end up getting the final payoff for that. I don't remember the last time I spoke to Mont Blanc, so let's speak to him. See if he's going to give us any extra goodies. Yeah, because I've had a few breaks now. I mean, I played until the start of August and then had like a 2.5, 3 week break. Then I played for 3 or 4 days and then had another week to 10-day break, so I'm a bit lost at the moment. As I was researching this, I was just thinking to myself, one of the things I loved about Final Fantasy X was that even as someone who was playing the game in like, you know, the early to mid 2000s, so before the internet really kicked in terms of, you know, having such easy access to the internet and being able to research everything that you needed to like instantly. Final Fantasy X was a game that even if you didn't really know anything, you didn't have a guide, you were just totally blinding it through, you could end up pretty much doing all the side quests without really needing too much. I mean, the monster arena is quite self-explanatory anyway. You don't need to do anything special for the monster arena, and the Dark Aeons, they're not that difficult to find. There's not a bunch of hoops you need to jump through in order to activate them. Most of them, if you just run around Spira, and well, the game's a bit of a corridor anyway, so it's not too difficult to bump into them if need be. It's likely that you'll die the first time because you won't be ready for it. You'll just speak to someone and it will trigger off the boss battle. But outside of that, I mean, it's not too difficult either. But a game like this, I imagine myself playing this in like 2004, especially if back then I was like maybe, I don't know, like 30, I was 13 at the time. So if I'm playing this in 2004 at age 13, I complete the story, and I'm trying to think, like outside of that, I can do the hunts because they're pretty self-explanatory, but in terms of the optional Espers, I can't imagine myself being able to find very many of them. So I probably would have given up long before I got anywhere near doing all of the optional Espers, just because I wouldn't have really thought about going online to research guides and trying to find guides for it and all that kind of stuff. Because some of these things, like watch what I'm about to do for this Barheim Key thing, and tell me how I could have done this without a guide, unless I got really lucky. So let's begin. Hopefully Dantro is here, otherwise I'm a bit fucked and I'm going to have to resort to said guide very quickly. Okay, so the third time of asking I managed to find the right place. Turns out I need to come to this outpost. So she said north, but turns out that he's not north across this this river thing. So I went all the way up here for no reason. Turns out he's here. So let's begin and see what he says. Think I can ask you to do one last thing for me? That cactus flower. Would you take that to my wife for me? She's in a village north of here. She's been tending to a sick traveller found near the village, and I think she might be able to prepare some medicine from that flower. The village is on the south bank of the Nebra. Oh, and tell them to send someone to relieve me while you're there. Alright, let's head up there. I love how there's just random Vieira scattered around. Were they always there, or are more Vieira starting to realise that there is a world out there outside of the wood? Maybe Fran's inspired more like herself. Sprint. It's so fun being able to sprint like this. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy X the other day in order to make the boss guide, and I found myself like tapping L1. I had to play on the PS4 to record some stuff, and I found myself tapping L1 just trying to get the game to speed up, and I was just getting so annoyed that it wasn't. I've gotten very much used to the Steam version now, so playing the PS4 version, it's probably the least fun I've ever had with Final Fantasy now, with Final Fantasy X now, because I'm so much more impatient. When you've completed the game 6,000 times, you just get more and more impatient, and you just want to get on with it. So it's not easy. Which one's Dantro's wife? I think it's this one. Owl and Nathal couldn't be truer friends. That wolf is like a brother to him. They run around playing from dusk till dawn. Obviously not. My husband's been gone to the North Bank for 3 days. I've not heard word from him. Would it kill him to send a message? So this is a different person. There I was thinking this was Dantro's wife. Fuck's sake. Maybe he's into gilfs. Who knows? Shh! Quiet! With a sick traveller sleeping just inside. Collapse not far from the village. I worry it may already be too late. Dantro bade you bring this cactus flower? This should help. Yes, thank you. Take this for your trouble. You obtain a bundle of needles. There's trouble on the North Bank. I'm sure of it. I wish Dantro were here, but I know he can't leave the outpost unwatched. Yeah, so normally you're like, well, okay, and then you just go on your way, not really knowing what that bunch of needles is for. But apparently, you exit and re-enter, and then you speak to the little kid that's by the pier. So let's see. Chigri. This is definitely my dad's boat, but where's my dad? Something bad must have happened. I'm crossing to the North Bank to see what's going on. I know how to pilot the boat, and there's no point in waiting around here worrying. Nonsense! Watching your father pilot the boat and doing it yourself are two different things. The river's dangerous, boy. But what if my dad's in trouble? After him, there's no one that even knows how to pilot the boat except me. Yes, but even if you make it across the river, who knows what you'll find once you're there. I'm sorry, but it's simply too dangerous. But my dad. Come on guys, why don't a few villagers go on together and try and sort this shit out? What if he went with Chig? Oh, okay. Just a stranger to the village, send him along. His life's dispensable, isn't it? He hunted the flowering cacti for Dantro. He must know how to defend himself. Yeah. I see no bravery in this village. That is true. What do you say, boy? Would you do this for our village? Would you go with Chigri to see what's happened on North Bank? Yeah, that's my reaction. You just gotta. I'll pilot the boat. What do you say? Okay, after hearing that story, I'd have to be a huge asshole to not go on this journey with this little kid and try and save his dad if he really is in trouble. Thank you, boy. Look after Chigri for us. And you, Chigri, be careful. The river will swallow the lot of you if you're not. Yeah, you know so much about the river you can't even pilot a boat. Look, over there. Are those cactoids? They must have attacked the North Bank. What are we going to do? Wait, there's my dad. And everyone else too. I don't like the look of this one bit. Seems like they're holding them hostage. But what would cactoids want with hostages? I don't believe it. The cactoid's all up and left. Now's our chance to go help my dad. Maybe they're putting on some kind of dance show for these guys. Just enjoying themselves away from their wives and stuff. I'm so glad you're alright. We didn't know what happened to you. Quite the tale, that one. And you've some tales of your own, piloting the boat all by yourself. I knew you'd got the river in your blood. The others said it was too dangerous, but I knew I could handle it. But what about the cactoids? They ran off for good, right? We can only hope so. Still, they're a prickly lot. Can't imagine they'd give up that easily. Whoa, what's that? They're pretty cool. Ooh. Big Mama's here. That is the leader of the cactoids. Hey, Prickle Pants, who do you think you are kidnapping my dad? Stay back, Chigri. They're just trying to find their son. Find their son? You mean they're related? That's right, they're a cactoid family. Their oldest son, Dran, went missing and they set out to find him. They came to our village along the way. Nothing but bad news, this Dran. He's a part of a cactoid clan terrorizing the desert. There's even a bounty on his head. This one here is the matriarch of the family. She's been searching high and low for him. Wants to bring him back home and set him straight. So it reminds me of the cactars that run away in Final Fantasy X. But they couldn't find Dran anywhere in Dalmasca. That's why they needed us. She forced us to guide them in the lands beyond the desert. The Mossforeign highways, the Salika Wood, even the Necrohole of Nabudis. I'd given up hope of ever making it back. And after all that, we still couldn't find him. So they brought us back here, for now. But who knows when they'll drag us off again. So there's a bounty on this Dran, huh? You have any idea where he might be? I don't think he's to the north of the river. We must have looked under every stone between here and Arcadia. As for the south bank, well, maybe this cactoid is a guest that's inside that they're trying to help out. We weren't about to leave the cactoids there and get you and the others mixed up in this too. So that's why you set the boat adrift. Keep them from making the crossing. I never figured on you coming to rescue me, but there's no time for that now. We'll keep him busy while you search the south bank for Dran. Right, just leave it to us. Let's get going. That's an interesting tale. Okay, back we come. How are we to find this Dran? Let's speak to Dantro's wife. I don't understand. Why would the cactoids invade the village? They're usually harmless enough. Their son, you say? Then we must find him. But the desert is huge. Where would we even begin? Wait, if this cactoid has been causing as much trouble as they say, someone may have posted a bill for him. Unless... The bill Dantro posted. You hunted that cactoid, didn't you? You don't think... Of course, the cactoid you hunted must have been their son. Hunted and made into medicine. We'll never be able to return him now. What? The flower? Why, I boiled it and threw it away behind the house. Okay, let's check this flower. Maybe he'll be a Dran. Okay, not sure I understand how that worked, but I guess we grew another Dran. We killed the first one, this is like a seedling that grew into another one or something. Whatever, man. What? The flower had budded into another cactoid? They're a strange lot, aren't they? Supposing you take it over the North Bank, do you think they'd accept it as their son? Yeah, that's the question. I guess so. Let's go, man. You found the cactoid? Wait, you didn't. You hunted another one, but this one looks just like that one, huh? Well, none of this makes much sense to me, but I guess we don't have much choice, huh? His family is waiting. Let's get him over to the North Bank. Okay, I'm curious to see what their reaction is going to be. I mean, Dran was good for nothing anyway. At least we brought them a fresh new baby cactar. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get him back to his family. I love how they're synchronized. Hey, we found your son for you. Now let my dad go. There you go. They're not quite in sync. I don't know. Do you think they're buying it? Look at him go. Guess they're going to take him in after all. Well, he does have the flower on his head, so... Well, that was fun. You obtain 1,000 gil and a pouch of wormfire shot. Okay, I think I've already got some, but cool. At least it was nice enough to give us something. Well, there you go. That was a bit of fun, wasn't it? So I did say that it was likely to be tedious. When I was just reading the steps on paper, it didn't sound like that much fun. But I guess now that I've started doing it with the little dialogue and the cactoids and stuff, it ended up being more fun than I was expecting. So fair play. That's the only thing that makes this kind of stuff bearable, like fetch quests and all that kind of stuff. If there is a little bit of story, a little bit of dialogue, something fun about it, then it definitely makes it much more worthwhile. When you don't have that either, then it really does just become a pain in the arse. Right then, let me see where I'm at here. Right, I need to go back and speak to her again. I think she's going to request something now. Now it's going to turn to a bit more of a request thing here. Keep your voice low, please. Our guest is still sleeping inside. The cactus flower you brought should help with the fever, but not the pain. If I had some sem-clam shells, I could make something to ease the pain. Do you think I could ask you to bring me some? Sem-clams live in the shallows along the banks of the river. The more you can bring me, the better. Okay. So I guess I can probably go along both banks. These glints turned into gill last time. Beachcomber. You gonna give me some? The Nebra is one of the greatest rivers in Dalmasca. She carries strange gifts for those with eyes to look. I find many of these gifts on my walks along her banks. Stingy. I bet anything she's got some clamshells. I found a mysterious glint around one of the houses, so... Oh. Okay, so some of them really are gill. My bad. I guess it might be worth heading over to the other side. Hello there. I'll never forget your help with those cactoids. I've got my son piloting the ferry, and I have a lot of time on my hands. I thought about taking up fishing, but I don't have a rod. You have any other ideas? Or maybe you can make some siblings for your son here, if you've got that much time on your hands. Have you seen the cockatrice in the village? Its name's Sasson. Comes around every now and then. I think it's friends with Tori. You should help Sasson cross the river to see her. But poor Sasson's scared to death of Nathor, so it won't be easy. What? That won't work. I don't know where Nathor is. Nathor probably won't go on without Arrow. Okay, let's see if we can find some more. Okay, having looked around, I don't think that I can find any more than 2. So I'm just going to see if 2 is going to be enough. You've brought the sem-clam shells. Yes, yes, this should do nicely. Unfortunately, our guest's wounds continue to bleed. Nebralim can staunch the wound, but we seem to be out. I think Dantro took some with him when he left for the outpost. Would you mind bringing some back to the village? Sure thing. Van the errand boy. Probably the name of this episode. Okay, back to the outpost we come. Dantro, running errands for my wife, eh? The Nebralim? There should be some over by those crates. Help yourself. Now I've got to run all the way back. Okay, lady. You've got all these villager people, you've got all these kids and stuff. Why do you keep making me do all this stuff? Come on. You have the Nebralim. Wonderful. A little of this spread over the wound should staunch the bleeding. Now to do something about the poison. God's sake. Why don't we just use this sooner? Some Veil Blossom Dew would quickly neutralize it. I hate to ask for your help again, but do you think you could gather some for me? You should find some blooming along the cliffs in the broken sands. If it wasn't for the optional Esper, I would not really give a shit at all, but, you know. I'm just trying to think, where are the blooming cliffs? Is it this bit, I wonder? Let me head up there and see. Broken sands, okay, cool. Let's slow it down and have a look. With Gambits on here, he's just going to be slicing through everything. This should be fun. Bang. Bang. That's why I don't really want to do that, because then I'm just basically farming LP points on the cheap. I wonder if I need to go towards these flowers. They're so weak they're doing 0 damage at this point. The dragon shield. Uh-huh. To make this extra fun, I might as well equip some Hermes sandals so you can kill him even quicker. There we go. Now, Mysterious Glint. There we go. That's number 1. I'm assuming this whole bunch here probably just counts as one bit of blossom. Oh, T-Rex, yeah? The thing that we ran away from at the start of the game. Oh, yeah. Let me just check out these. I've got a couple of things here. That's not even that bad. And I've got a dragon shield. Shields 4. Okay. That's not too bad. Considering I'm hanging around in such a low level area. What? Really? Isn't this exactly the same flower that... Either you just collect one and that's it. Weathered rock. What the hell? I just made a path through to this bit. Very well. Yeah, this is the only one I found so far. I feel like if I run around to the other side of this one, I might be able to get another. There we go. I think 3 is probably a good number. I think I read that 3 was enough. Let's get out of here. See if 3 will do the trick. And then we're getting towards the end of the Barheim Key thing. Yeah, forget Assassin just for now. I can't bother. If he's going to be part of a side quest, then I'll bother. That's one of those ones where you need to rack your brains a little bit. I'm not. I'm fully focused on boss battle right now. Don't care too much about puzzles at the moment. You found the Veil Blossom Dew. Wonderful. This should flush the poison from the body. Now we only have to wait and hope. Is that a great serpent skin by any chance? Boiled and distilled, it makes a potent restorative draft. It may speed our guest recovery. This great serpent skin, would you give it to me? I'm not sure Dantro would be happy if I gave you the great serpent skin, but thank you. I shall prepare the draft at once. I'm sure it will be of help. So now I think I return to the area again. The traveller rests now and expect a full recovery before long. The moaning stopped. That's a good sign. Did I have to leave and come back twice? Let me have a read. Leave and re-enter twice. Yep. Our guest is fully recovered now. Should be just around back. Want to give you a word of thanks, if I'm not mistaken. Wanted to give you a word of thanks, if I'm not mistaken. Give me that Barheim Key. There we go. Recovering traveller. You're the one who brought medicine while I was unconscious? My thanks, stranger. I am a treasure hunter by trade. I learned of a great treasure deep in the Barheim Passage. I posted 2 sentries to watch while I went in. But I was played false. I found a terrible creature lying within, but no treasure. I fled for my life. The next thing I remember is waking up here, being nursed back to health. The key I used is yours, if you want it. I'm not going back. There's my Barheim Key. There's more than one way into Barheim Passage. I hear there's another entrance somewhere in the Estersand. Where, I cannot say. It is time I left. Those fool brothers will be wondering where I've gone. Thank you for your help, stranger. Pair of magic gloves. Okay. So I think if I got some more ingredients, I would have got better items. But I think the best one is a golden amulet or something, which I'm not really needing at the moment. So, we are finally ready to head to the Barheim Passage and take on Zalera. Now, it says to the Barheim Passage here, so I feel like why not just head down there? I feel like maybe that's already the right place.